The Warriors were attempting to become this second 10th seed to advance to the NBA playoffs, but it didn't go down like that tonight in the Valley of the Sun. It was all Phoenix all night long as Jalen Green led the way for the Suns with a monster night. Stephen Curry just couldn't get his game rolling, and the Warriors' season comes to an end as we welcome everybody to Toyota Warriors Postgame Live with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, NBA champion Festus Ezeli. I am Bonte Hill. The Suns began the game on a 13-2 run. Actually, the Warriors scored the first bucket to go on a 13-0 run, and they really controlled the pace. The turnovers did the Warriors in, the theme of the season, and they just could not get over that hump in the second half.
Yeah, Bonte, game of runs. All right, the first half of the first quarter actually belonged to the Phoenix Suns. I thought they came out and hit first. Second quarter belonged to the Warriors. They came back from an 18-point deficit in the first quarter. Came back and won the second quarter by about, 14 points, about 13, 14 points. And I think this is what the first half looked like, back and forth. Second half was a different story. I thought the Phoenix Suns really took matters into their own hands. I thought Jalen Green was special. His ability to score, he got into a rhythm early. I mean, watching the Warriors right now, they feel like they left it all on the floor. Because it's one of those games where you feel like all the things, the culmination of everything that's happened this season was injuries, it was turnovers, guys trying to get some kind of rhythm on the floor together, and tonight just showed all those things together.
Mully, that quick turnaround from the Clippers game Wednesday night really did the Warriors in. Kristaps Porzingis did not look like himself. The ankle obviously bothering him. Stephen Curry did not look like the guy we saw Wednesday night in that second half against the Clippers when he scored 27 of his 35 points. They just were a step slow, couldn't get to the 50-50 balls. Passes, they looked fatigued all night long, and you have to give the Suns credit. They got the rest, they were at home, and they were just a step quicker all night long.
Yeah, as you just said, they left it all on the floor. They left it in L.A. in that game. It took a lot out of them. There was a championship type of win for the Warriors against the Clippers. But I said pregame, my biggest thing was how they're going to recover between games. This Phoenix Suns team, average age of about 26, 14th in the league. The Warriors are the oldest team in the league. They played Tuesday, so they had an extra day of rest. They're at home. All those things worked in their advantage. But they still had to come out and execute knockdown shots. And the guy, the biggest star of the night, was Jalen Green, a guy who has historically really struggled against the Warriors. You see the numbers there. Bonte, you can read them off there.
Yeah, 31% from the floor. Remember last year in Game 2, Jalen Green dropped 38 points on the Dubs and made 8 threes. In the other 6 games, he only averaged 9 points a game. He was awful from the floor, shot in the low 30s. Well, tonight, and this is back-to-back playing nights, and Fezzi, we all discussed.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are talking about the Golden State Warriors, and their season is over. The Warriors were eliminated by the Phoenix Suns in the play-in tournament. The final score was 111-96. Jalen Green had a monster night for the Suns, scoring 36 points. Stephen Curry could not get it going. The Warriors committed 21 turnovers. And the analysts on Warriors Postgame Live asking the tough questions. Will Steve Kerr be back? Should he be fired? Let me break it all down. The Suns began the game on a 13-0 run after the Warriors scored the first bucket. The turnovers did the Warriors in. That was the theme of the season. The first half was a game of runs. The Warriors came back from an 18-point deficit in the first quarter and won the second quarter by about 14 points. But the second half was a different story. The Suns took matters into their own hands. The analyst, Festus Ezeli, said that the Warriors left it all on the floor. He said this was a culmination of everything that happened this season. Injuries, turnovers, guys trying to get some kind of rhythm on the floor together. Tonight showed all those things together. Chris Mullin pointed out that the quick turnaround from the Clippers game really did the Warriors in. Kristaps Porzingis did not look like himself. His ankle was obviously bothering him. Stephen Curry did not look like the guy they saw Wednesday night against the Clippers when he scored 27 of his 35 points in the Secon. D-half. They were a step slow. They could not get to the 50-50 balls. They looked fatigued all night long. And you have to give the Suns credit. They got the rest. They were at home. They were just a step quicker all day long. Festus Ezeli added that the Warriors left it all in L.A. That game against the Clippers took a lot out of them. It was a championship type of win for the Warriors. But he said his biggest thing pre-game was how they were going to recover between games. The Suns are the 14th youngest team in the league. The Warriors are the oldest team in the league. The Suns had an extra day of rest and were at home. All those things worked in their advantage. But they still had to come out and execute and knock down shots. The biggest star of the night was Jalen Green. He has historically really struggled against the Warriors. Last year in Game 2, he dropped 38 points on the Warriors and made 8 threes. In the other 6 games, he only averaged 9 points a game. He was awful from the floor, shooting in the low 30s. Well, tonight, he scored 22 points in the second half alone. Festus Ezeli said the Warriors did a good job on Jalen Green early in the game. But they let him get some easy baskets in the second quarter, and from there, like any young talented player, once you let him get some life, it is hard to stop. He is a really tough shot maker. He hit some really tough bombs after he got some confidence. Then from there, you could see it. You could even see it. In the way he was dribbling the basketball. He was ready to go by anybody who was in front of him. Chris Mullin said Jalen Green is so talented. He said Green is one of those guys that can make really tough shots, borderline bad shots. He just takes sometimes very questionable shots, but he has the ability to make them because of his athleticism. He got that fast break dunk. He also made that 3 at the end of the half. At halftime, he had 14 points, he made 4 threes and that dunk. So, he felt good about the way things were going for himself. Then things opened up for him. He was beating people off the dribble. That is where the Warriors looked a step slow, definitely from the Clipper game. Once he knocked down those threes, he made some mid-range, he was driving by people for layups. He really put together a big-time game on back-to-back playing nights. You have to give him his credit. That 3 before the half was huge because it gave Phoenix a 5-point lead. In the first 6 minutes of the third quarter, Phoenix outscored the Warriors 17-8 to stabilize the game and go back up 16. Now, let me talk about the turnovers. The analysts discussed this all season long. If the Warriors turned the ball over 20 times tonight against Phoenix, it was going to spell trouble. Well, guess what? They committed 21 turnovers tonight. They gave up 30 points off those turnovers. They were a -20 when it came to points off turnovers. It happened early and often. 9 to Novus in the first quarter alone. The second half, 10 turnovers. This is one thing they cannot have, especially on a night when they are not shooting the ball very well. Bonta Hill said the Warriors shot 40% in the first half. You have to find ways to take care of the basketball. This has been the story all season long. Tonight was kind of like an exam. What have you learned all year long? The Warriors kind of showed that they have to figure out a way to take care of it. But that is fatigue. Mental and physical fatigue. A little bit of focus. Chris Mullin added that both teams are top 10 in deflections. So, you have to be extra careful handling the ball. He thinks that is a result of physical fatigue. The Warriors were a -20 points off turnovers. The Suns made 18 threes to the Warriors 11. So, it is a -21. That is -41 just in those two categories. Then you add in the fact that Stephen Curry did not have it going tonight. He was just 3 of 10 from the three-point line, 4 of 16 overall. At times he was compromised with his runner's knee. You could tell he was not right. He had a magical night Wednesday against the Clippers, scoring 35 points with 27 coming in the last 2 quarters. But tonight, he just could not find a rhythm. And give the Suns credit. They switched everything. Not having Mark Williams in the game was actually a blessing. Andre Iguodala was switching onto him. They limited the three-point attempts for Stephen Curry early and often. That is a big reason why the Golden State Warriors lost tonight. Festus Ezeli said Steph could not get it going. A lot of it was also the Warriors just could not get anything going. You see 2 or 3 guys on Steph as he is going to the lane. There were no guys making shots off the rim. He thought the second half was the Warriors looking to Steph to save them, bail them out. Steph has given you everything, coming back from this injury. He was banged up. He was limping tonight. Somewhere through the game he was limping. Looked like he hurt his knee again. This is one of the things that is going to bother the Warriors. You wonder if they win this game. Is it even worth it? Because you do not want Steph to get hurt more than what he has already been. He had a tough shooting night, but that is just a result of the whole team really struggling. No offensive rhythm, turning the ball over, and other guys struggling shooting the floor. That makes the floor shrink, and then Steph could not really get it going. Chris Mullin said missing those 27 games at the end of the season took Steph totally out of his rhythm. Not so much on-court rhythm, but his body recovery rhythm of playing every other day consistently. Your body gets used to that rhythm. His body did not have that. So, it is no coincidence his first game back against the Rockets was his best game. He was fresh, the adrenaline was flowing. He had a few shaky games in there before the play-in. He was dynamite against the Clippers, especially in the second half. And then tonight. He said pre-game, Porzingis, Steph, Draymond, and Horford, how they recover. Steph and Porzingis struggled tonight physically. Draymond looked solid, but not great. Horford was okay. So, he thinks the Clipper game really took a lot out of those 4 players. And then, the other thing is you have to give Phoenix credit. Watching that Clipper game, they were very aware of not having a big center on Steph Curry in drop coverage. Most times Steph came off the dribble pick and rolls. It was another small to switch or double. Even on those flare screens and pin downs, it was small on small. They did not have Mark Williams. It might have been a blessing he did not play. The Warriors only went 8 deep tonight against the Phoenix Suns. They got blown out in the Valley. And now we have a plethora of question marks going on with this roster moving forward. Will Steve Kerr be back? Will Draymond Green be back with his player option? What about Al Horford? Kristaps Porzingis? The Warriors are at a crossroads, and the fans are already calling for heads to roll. So here is my question to you in the comments. Should the Warriors fire Steve Kerr? And what should Golden State do this offseason? Let me know. I read every single comment. As always, like, subscribe, hit that bell. We are building something special here. I will see you in the next one.